Hello everyone, welcome to Spinning Iris. Sing, Unburied, Sing by Jesmyn Ward. How do I talk about this beautiful book? Well, I tried doing a video right after I finished reading it, but the moment I sat down to record my thoughts, they're just gone. I don't think this will really be a review, more a collection of my thoughts, because this book deserves a proper group discussion that I am not currently equipped to do. And I'll try not to spoil anything major. First thought. Well, I'm just going to read the back cover. Part ghost story, part road novel, this historic National Book Award winner is a dazzling journey through Mississippi's past and present and an epic tale of hope and survival. Following a family making the trip from their Gulf Coast town to the Mississippi State Penitentiary, Sing, Unburied, Sing tests the strength of emotional bonds and the pull of our collective history. In a haunted landscape, for a family reeling from loss, the trip is fraught with danger. This gorgeous novel, animated by Ward's lush and vibrant language, is rich with connection, meaning, and healing. Again, there's a lot to unpack here, or rather, unbury. Part ghost story, part road novel. Disagree a little bit with that. It is mostly ghost story. When I say ghost story, I don't really mean horror, like, ooh, boo, scary. More of the gothic type, with all the heightened emotions and atmosphere. And it gets pretty visceral in times in some of the things that are described. In some respects, this reminds me of John Steinbeck's style a little bit. You know, descriptions so good you can practically taste the scenery. Although in one particular moment I'm kind of glad I can't taste the scenery. This is definitely a ghost story. Not sure, but I'll go ahead and say this as a spoiler. There are actual ghosts and sort of, I guess, metaphysical ghosts. Is metaphysical the word I'm looking for? Probably. Ghosts that our main characters can actually see, either naturally or with a little enhancement. For instance, our main character's mother, Leonie. And then there are what I'd call sort of living ghosts. Not technically ghosts, they are alive, but they kind of move through life as though they were a ghost. Example of that, the character Leonie, who I mentioned before, she sort of exists in the shadow of her brother, and when he dies, in a way, so did she. It's funny, another one, in the group guide, in the back for the group discussion. Really nice. Those a little frustrating because I don't have anybody to discuss this with. As Leonie looks at Jojo and Kayla in the back seat on their way to pick up Michael, she thinks, sometimes when Jojo's playing with Michaela or sitting in Mama's room rubbing her hands or helping her turn over in the bed, I look at him and see a hungry girl. And the question is, why does Leonie see this hungry girl in Jojo? Well, it's really, you have to read more of the book to get to the answer of that and to look kind of beyond what's physically there in the page and sort of interpreting what's going on as well. That made no sense. It's like she's seeing a ghost of herself in her son, sort of not only hungry for food, but hungry for attention, hungry for something that she cannot have, something that she desperately wants, something more from life. It's also an interesting idea brought up in this book, that idea that past, the present, and the future are all sort of happening simultaneously. And there's a story told in the novel by the grandfather that is always sort of told a little out of order and is never completely finished. And I am surprised and ecstatic that one thing I thought was going to happen in this book did not happen. Thank you. That was involving Jojo's little sister Michaela. That poor girl. This also happened while I was reading Wuthering Heights last year. another dysfunctional couple, the couple in this book as well. It's interesting, it was about halfway, nearing the end, when Michael is more present in the story, how much he and Leonie, their relationship kind of reminded me of Romeo and Juliet, had they been allowed to live. The family tragedies are very similar. Of course, two different communities, and bad history on both sides on many levels. They are also some rather terrible parents. If you wanted to analyze that, it could make for an interesting talk about nature versus nurture in terms of parenting styles. It is kind of revealed that Leonie's way of parenting is definitely not based on nurture, because her parents were, I'd say, decent parents, but she just does not have that maternal instinct. Yeah. With Michael, it's kind of the other way. His is more nurture as opposed to nature. So we get a good example of the heavy hand that he probably grew up with when they go to visit his parents. I think Romeo and Juliet would probably have been terrible parents too. And like I said, I could go on with this, but there is just too much to simply talk about in one short video about this sort of novel. It deserves so much more than just my lame analysis. I'd say this is a good book for discussion in schools, whether it's higher education or high school. I think this would be a good one for high schoolers to read, personally. If I had to give it a number, sure, 4 out of 5. My one complaint about the book, I wanted more. Oh man, especially the more supernatural aspect. I kind of wanted a little bit more of that. But as it is, it's a perfectly beautiful book. Oh man, and I knew I was going to cry. Got to the last, I think it was 3 or 4 chapters, and I was in tears. Jesmyn Ward wrote a beautiful novel, and I will definitely be adding her to my list of authors to follow. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want more reviews, I hope you'll hit that like button. Maybe subscribe. I set a rather ambitious goal for myself recently. Probably will never hit it, but who knows. That's all I have for now. Take care. Bye-bye.